Well, you've all been chanting his name time and time again for many years. He made us laugh so hard we were in tears. Like the I Love You guy, man, and those Budweiser commercials that were selling beers. So put your hands together for a kind, talented, hilarious, intelligent human being. First name Aries, last name Spears. Welcome, Aries, to the show.
Yo, what's up, brother? Let me find out you the white Muhammad Ali.
Thank you. I appreciate you, man. Man, I appreciate what you've given. I told Orlando and Brandee this as well. The greatest gift in the world is to give someone a laugh that you don't have or a smile you don't have so they can have it. You've given us so many smiles, Aries, from the heart.
Listen, man, it's been my pleasure, man. You know, it's always great when you do what you love and what you're passionate about. You know, I'm not working a regular 9 to 5. It's been my bread and butter since I was 14.
I was going to ask Aries this question. Aries, do you feel like it's more liberating for the comic to not have the suits and ties sitting on top of you the way they might do at SNL? Does it give you more freedom, and do you find that to be something that... Now, of course, there's pros and cons, right? It shows up in the paycheck, of course. There's a discrepancy. But do you find it liberating as well to say, hey, you know what? If the suits and ties don't believe in us, maybe we can push the envelope a little further.
You know, I often, in regards to myself, when people ask me about, you know, because of the political times we live in and how sensitivity is such a big thing now, if I ever alter my comedy, and I always say this answer, which I think is, you know, also could be applied to MADtv. You know, my comedy cocaine is uncommon. You know, I serve it in the purest raw form. And I think that was very similar to what we were able to do on MADtv.
Right.
You know, yeah, it was the 90s. You could get away with more. And what I felt like, you know, today's climate is a disservice to what could be comedy fans. Because if you were able to take in what we gave you, what was better than that? You know, so I almost feel sorry for people who are coming up now trying to embrace comedy because it just doesn't have the same agency that it had then. People ask me even today, have you guys ever thought about bringing MADtv back? They tried, but it was so in and out that no one even remembers it.
Right.
Because and you know, listen, I felt bad for the group of people that were involved in that because they didn't have a fighting chance. I mean, you know, we came on at 11 o'clock. Whereas, you know, the CW put it on Wednesday at 9, you know, and again, most importantly, the climate change. So they didn't have the same time slot. They didn't have the same creative freedom. So you just knew that they didn't have a chance, you know? So when people ask that question, again, I always go, well, you know, they tried.
Aries, as someone who's had some incredible impersonations, I mean, spot on. Has there ever been a moment where you busted out an impression mid-podcast just to mess with the audience? Sometimes not even relevant to the conversation, just responding in character of someone you're impersonating. I gotta know.
You know, for me, everything is calculated and drawn out. Yes, part of being a comic is being spontaneous, but there is a certain amount of planning that goes into it. And it's like, you know, I'll admit when I don't necessarily do a good impression of somebody. I think that because I admit it and then do it, some people find some humility in that and they end up going, oh, that's pretty good. But the people that I know I can do and score with, it's always intentional. Because if I got MJ on the bench, why wouldn't I put him in the game?
Right. That's a good
Give me this quick 45. So
you're not talking about the 2003 MJ who was a sixth man for the Wizards. Not that MJ.
That MJ wasn't bad either.
He wasn't bad.
And this might be going a little off track.
Yeah.
When people talk about the legendary, iconic Eddie Murphy, I go, you know, Eddie in the 80s and the 90s, he was Michael Jordan in the Chicago Bulls. Eddie today is Wizards Jordan. You know, he's still an icon.
Right.
You know, he's still can
put the numbers up. Yeah.
He's not as explosive, but he still give you 20.
Yeah.
So,
and I like that because, you know, just to further extend that, I feel like Eddie in the early 80s, late 70s was Jordan in North Carolina. Because SNL, if you remember, they put the reins on him that first season. We barely saw him. He was a featured player until, of course, he wasn't. And then Joe Piscopo and him essentially took over that show in front of the camera and gave us some magic. So that's some.
But also, Eddie was on that show for only 3 years.
That's it.
So you know, you can only hold the good stuff back for so long.
It's a good point.
It explode.
But what's the one sketch for MADtv that fans scream at you the most? Aries, is there anything that people usually point out? One over the other, perhaps? I don't know.
And I know this might sound somewhat braggadocious, but I think to our credit as an ensemble, just like Brandee said, we were never given the respect that I felt we deserved, especially in terms of promotion.
Right.
So again, I don't mean to sound braggadocious, but there's a plethora of sketches that we did in an ensemble where
absolutely,
I don't think you could even name one. One of the ones that off the top of my dome that I had the most fun doing was the Wizard of Lost sketch, where Dorothy ran into the runaway slave, played by me.
I remember that sketch.
And my request was for freedom, which of course I couldn't get granted.
Yes.
Again, from the makeup, Jen Aspinall, everybody looking like actual characters from the Wizard of Oz.
There was so much commitment there. Yeah.
To the performances,
yeah,
to the fact that you would do a joke edge on top of everything else. Great writing, great makeup, great costumes, great performance. But then you had that edge. It was the ending.
This is a question for Aries because of a very confident stand-up performer you are. Wouldn't you agree that the audience is as interested in knowing that you're confident when you step on stage as you are funny? They need that. They need to know you're ready. You need to know this guy's ready. He's here to make us laugh. And they just pick up on that confidence.
The most confident guy in the world. The cocaine is the product. It's delivered it.
I'm going to ask Aries the same question, just a couple of these, and we're out of here. Well, who would you rather pay for to see and why of the following? Rocky Balboa as a neurosurgeon, Seinfeld as a correctional officer, or Rambo the talk show host?
I think Rocky as a neurosurgeon.
Okay, I could see that.
And listen, educate me real quick.
Okay.
What exactly does a neurosurgeon do?
He cuts brains open.
All right, I want to use a scalpel. The thing was with brains. I need some anesthesia. That was
this the one time.
Writes itself.
This is the one time where he wouldn't need to have Mick cut him, right? He's cutting someone
exactly.
else. There you go. I see what you're
saying.
For real.
I like that. But Mick would be his guided hands on the equipment.
But Aries, right? Isn't that the one time we don't want Mick in the room? Isn't that the one time we want Mick to annoy Rock? You got to concentrate, right? Doesn't need direction from Mick.
Right.
Aries, do you concur again? We have Hannibal Lecter as a regular cast member of 90210. We have Big Bird the Bounty Hunter or Conan the Librarian?
I'm going to go with Conan the Librarian.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, just having Arnold Schwarzenegger tell you to be quiet in the library is
You'd have to comply. I would agree. You'd have to comply. Aries, which would you pay for to see and why are the following? Darth Vader, the wedding planner, Godzilla, the massage therapist, or Freddy Krueger, the personal trainer?
Listen, Freddy Krueger was always my guy growing up as a kid in the 80s.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Freddy.
The personal trainer. No wrist trolls though from Freddy, right? No wrist trolls. We can't have wrist trolls.
Yeah, it'll motivate you to get it right. Because if you don't,
that's true.
You know what's coming.
That's true. Did you have fun? Hopefully it exceeded expectations. I'm hoping a little bit, perhaps. You guys had a cool time? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, no, it's all good, brother.
That very year, 1971, a two-time U.S. Olympian was born. The silver, the bronze at the Pan American Games of 1995. He was a two-time U.S. national in 95 and 97, WWE World Heavyweight Champion, and a WWE Hall of Famer. The latter pales in comparison to the man behind the vast accomplishments and accolades that I just mentioned. And even on national holidays such as Father's Day, this man has prioritized the needs and well-beings of others as he assisted the homeless and has made helping children a point of emphasis. I welcome Mark Henry to the Green Room live. Mark, how are you?
I'm doing great, man. How you doing?
Great to see you, my friend. Great to see you.
Listen, there is a thing called color commentary. They should call you colorful commentary.
Thank you, Mark. But if someone were to ask you right now, Mark, catch us up on 2021 as it pertains to Mark Henry.
Partnered with Maestro's Beer Company. And we are going and doing what we call a day of service.
Okay.
In Philadelphia pretty soon. We go under the bridges and we get local barbers to shave people.
Sure.
We give, like T-shirts, clean clothes. Let's try to get people to do a better job of dealing with the homeless, dealing with the people that have drug issues, and just acknowledging the fact that these people need help.
But it seems to be that one of your gifts is your relatability. It's almost like you're able to relate to different people on their level and speak to them and not speak down to them. I think that's one of the greatest assets that you have, my friend.
Well, I do my best. I'm anti-celebrity.
Okay.
Ever since I was a kid, I got plenty of attention in my life. But the one thing that always turned me off is when I entered a room and somebody was too Hollywood.
I agree with you about what you said about that Hollywood mentality. I cannot stand it. I used to live, guys and gals, in Santa Monica. My literary agent, my first one, when I started working for Lionsgate, my first one introduced me to a guy from Police Academy who I won't name. This guy could not hold open a door for a 95-year-old man. So when I approached him,
wow.
And Mark, I promise you, when I approached this guy, I gave him a mouthful, and he kind of looked at me at first like, who are you? And then I sort of just doing the Hollywood thing, working the cell phone and finding out that I work for Lionsgate. All of a sudden, he wanted to become my best friend. I'm like, no, because I don't subscribe to idol worship. We are the same. You're right. We are 100% the same. This is a game called Either Or. It's kind of self-explanatory.
I like games.
Jay Leno or David Letterman?
Jay Leno. He was
okay.
Good. I learned how to saute basil and make a garlic wine sauce.
You are much, much more equipped in the kitchen than me. All I know how to do is make a bowl of cereal. I do it pretty well, though. I make a pretty good bowl of cereal, I'll tell you that. As we continue, Charles Barkley or Karl Malone?
Oh, man.
I'm sorry.
I have to say Karl Malone. Karl was, like the leader in scoring at one point, and he also made the people around him better.
Be seeing Mark pretty soon. I hope you enjoyed the interview, my friend.
I did, man. You're awesome. You are absolutely awesome. And I'm going to steal your format for your show.
No.
I don't believe in recreating the wheel. If something is pretty damn good, why try to improve on it? I love the concept.
Little improv. It's a fun scene. It's a fun scene. It's going to be a fun scene.
That is a little improv.
Gonna give you guys a scenario over here. I have a couple written down. I'll just give you guys one. I think this is good. Tommy will be... Well, this is the better one. Mark Henry will be playing an overly emotional car salesman trying to sell a car to Tommy. Mark is doing his very best to keep his composure, but every time he's making some progress pitching a particular car, everything from old gold commercials to his former pet turtle are reducing him to the point of tears. Tommy is playing a football coach that somehow is giving a terrific halftime speech during all of this, but there's one caveat. He isn't merely speaking to his players. He's giving them a pep talk by singing random 70s, 80s, and 90s theme songs of TV shows, sitcoms, cartoons, and movies. Anything that comes to mind, theme.
Scott, listen, man. You buy this car, and I will throw in 7 of time. Excuse me. I'm sorry, Tom. I will throw in several turtle eggs. You can always keep them and think about Scotty.
Friend and brother, and me, yours truly, Avi Klein. Can anything be more fine? Of course you aren't 50, just 49. Thank you for being you and reminding us that love conquers hate. Thank you for being born. Let us always celebrate this date. What do I get?
B plus on the curve.
A B plus on the curve?
That's not bad.
This entire field of 32 and has all the tools to do so in convincing passion and fashion, strength, intellect, sure, but don't forget his unconditional passion. Can you hear that sound? I sure do. Hark! Hark! Let's welcome in a Hall of Famer, Olympian and friend, last name Henry, first name Mark. Mark Henry, welcome to the Grand Debate Tournament of 32, my friend.
That is a welcome if I ever heard one.
You look great, man. And I know last time you said it's genetics. It's genetics.
It is. And you look at talking about genetics, man. Look at that hair, man. Look at that mane.
I gotta cut this thing off, man. It's wild. It's getting
the curls get the girls.
But Mark will now make a great point, 4 great points, plural, not singular, for the 80s as being the greatest era for commercials.
But in the 80s, they changed and they started using celebrities to sell. They started using kids more to sell products. When you have a cute, cuddly little kid and he's talking about how much he loves this cereal, then people were like, and other kids started watching television and not watching the programs, but watching the commercials.
Henry, two-time U.S. Olympian.
Why are you sounding nervous? You and I are gonna have, we're gonna have a match. You know, it's a lot on the line. 11,000 simoleons. But when we compete, there will be no pleasantries. I will be serious. I will be focused. And I'm gonna come out victorious. I'm here to win. See, I know that you beat somebody, what, 28, 29 to 2?
Twice. 2 different careers, twice. I wouldn't allow myself to even enter those Motel 6s because I didn't deserve it. Because I didn't pay my dues when I was a kid, 18, 19, 20, and now in my 40s. Some people are asking, hey man, talk about your journey.
With this intense persona, I don't shake, I don't wiggle, I don't do none of that. So you can keep the bravado.
Let me interject if a moment, if you don't mind. I'll let my debate and my talking points intimidate the masses once we officially begin.
Listen, I know your vocabulary and your knowledge of the force strong, Skywalker, but you will not rattle me. There was a guy named Virtual Small in 1917. Pro wrestler. Also fought in the Civil War. Nobody talks about those stories because he was not as considered a person. And then you have wars, treaties being had during the Civil War where Ulysses Grant said, excuse the mess. We had pro wrestling here last night. But when you start talking to history and controversy, you have to start at the human life. And the human life was not on both sides. It was not respected on both sides. It was about people wanting to control.
And part of my question for you, actually, it's a rebuttal, but it's also tied to a question I have for you, good sir. I think what makes it controversial, and it's not something that was brought up, was the fact that we paint our leaders, perhaps even like Abraham Lincoln, as an equal rights supporter.
What do we need to do to push the narrative of there's something out here that's entertaining over what you see on the internet and what you see on mainstream television? There is nothing that was on TV tonight that even remotely rivals what we did on this broadcast.
Appreciate that. He's an absolute gem of a man, to say the very least. He's inspired the masses and is a man of his word, as honest as a priest. He's a 2-time Olympian, Hall of Famer, gold medalist, and oh, so much more. He's a competitor, and through sheer determination, he's been able to soar. He's a teacher, a poet, a friend. When he flashes that smile, we are all witness to its spark. Welcome a kind and supremely talented man. Last name Henry, first name Mark. Mark, how are you?
I'm doing good, man. How you doing, brother?
Looking good, too.
Well, you know, that's genetic.
Guys, also humble, very humble and modest as well, defining quality.
Right. Okay. I'll let you tell it.
Right, Mark, what do you think here? We got Rick Barry, Tom Sizemore, Jeff Tate, Kevin Farley, yourself, the new network. Your thoughts?
You know what, man? I think that is an unbelievable thing to be able to have so many different people with different ethnicities and religions and things that are going on in their life that are going in different directions, but everybody can get on this call and not only support you and support the new network, but support intelligent people that are involved in sport.
A fellow wrestler, but because of the insurrection of what he was talking about was near and dear to me, because I actually knew somebody that got injured, you know, in that proceedings. That story needs to be told because it should never, ever happen again. And our government should be more reactive when things like that happen just to nip it in the bud. So I'm going to have to go with, doing a story or doing a movie about the insurrection.
Again,
thank you for having me again, brother. And I want you to accept the accolades that you get from all of these brilliant people. They tell you that you're smart. They tell you that you're exposed. They tell you thank you for bringing everybody together. Like these are comments and compliments that you have to say, thank you very much, I accept.
He thinks, he listens, and he listens more. And then when he speaks, that's why he offers pearls. Because when he speaks, guess what? He's taking the time to listen. This is a man who will also be judging tonight, the one and only Mr. Mark Henry. Mark Henry, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing great, brother.
I champion the human being, and I'm so glad that all of you, including you, Mark, are able to be so present and aware when you're here live. It's such a treat for everybody. It really is.
Bro, it is so good. But the thing that I'm realizing the most is when all of the actors and directors and athletes and activists and people of different realms and in different worlds come together, this is like a sanctuary for those people, because we don't always get to talk about the things that really truly move us and make us feel, not just, interact with other people. I love this show because it makes me feel. I've said this before, and I don't want to be too repetitive. This is men cordially, respectfully having conversations about things that actually matter. It's hard for me to just watch TV anymore because the things are not as entertaining as what we're doing right now. We can't go to the TV and flip the channels and find anything that's remotely going to be as close to an educational basis and a feeling. To stand on the ground at Cape Canaveral and look up into space and see a ship take off and go to another planet, another body. Being a science fiction guy that, loves the Star Trek and Star Wars and everything remotely close to it, I really feel like that's the place where I would have wanted to be. I would have wanted to be standing on the ground watching that ship go up in the air, man. Like, that did something to me. And Ed, thank you for giving us that. And I got called a retard, and I got called all these lazy, all these names that you got called. And on the other side of the country, going through the same thing. And I always feel like, God puts us in line with people that, can validate what we're saying, but also can help other people through our dismay.
Scholar, host, these are some of the words that some have chanted. I concur. But before anything else, I use the word brother. To me, he's a big brother. But don't get it twisted. He can still twist and bend anyone in this tournament like no other. So get up off your seats as if you're getting wild at a rock concert hosted by Linkin Park as we greet humanity at its best. And welcome, as always, a legend. Last name Henry, first name Mark. Mark Henry, welcome, my friend.
What's going on, man? Listen, I always love the introductions, but you put something in there new this time, and it's always good to get the compliments, but it's even better to be able to put the work in and have people recognize it. That's why I always give you your flowers, because you do a lot of work, and the research that you do on all the luminaries and actors and artists and wrestlers that come on this program. Hundreds of hours of research, and that says a lot about a human being. So you care about the product that you put out, and that's why the show is so successful. When somebody is going through a traumatic event, and sometimes you just need somebody to sit with and to let them talk, and you just be quiet and listen, and eventually they'll say, well, what do you think? And then you can let them know how strong.
I resonate a lot with what Buster, his story. I was thrown to the wolves several times in my youth with bullies, and you would be like, oh my God, there's no way, you're 350 pounds, nobody ever bullied you. Yes, I got bullied as a kid. The world needs to do a better job of pushing things like David's Law on social medias so they can stop the bullying.
Man, I felt bulletproof as a young man. And those things can either harm you or hurt you. I've been blessed that God chose me, so I got to be David. I got to be the warrior. A lot of people became the villain, became the crook. They became the bad guy. Eric has been in the wrestling business 15 years longer than me, and he'll never hear nobody say nothing bad about me because there ain't nothing for them to say. So, like I told you, that this show should be on mainstream television because it's the only show that I've ever been a part of that I feel like is actually solving the world's problems through the fact that you have people that are experts. Congratulations on the 200th episode of Green Room. As you can hear, I'm in the airport as I've been traveling. But I wanted to make sure that you got this message. I appreciate what you do for the culture of education of athletes and entertainers. And I hope many, many more unbelievably successful shows. Good luck and keep bringing education, entertainment, and athleticism together. Good job, man.
That's the finesse. He can still soar with one hand all atop the sky and put a champagne glass on the moon because he's got it like that, like Tony Stark. So bring in a friend and Hall of Famer. Last name Henry, first name Mark. Mr. Mark Henry, welcome, my friend.
My man, listen, I appreciate the fact that you announced the accolades of all the people that come before us. But the skill that you do it in is what I find refreshing. The time spent on making sure something is memorable, that's where the tire meets the road.
Guys and gals, Mark Henry, again, winning this whole thing would be pretty neat, wouldn't you say?
Not only would it be neat, but it would be educational, which is something that, you know, I hold near and dear to my heart, to be able to go to Greece and be able to not work, but go there to observe and to experience, which is what I always want. That will be something that I can hold over everybody on this panel's head. I'm about winning.
3 card, which means it will be 3.
Mark Henry.
It's Rick Mahorn. Here we go. It's Rick Mahorn. It's Rick
You want the smoke? No, I want all that smoke.
Rick wants Mark Henry, guys.
This is actually how government should be run. Not with politics, but with people that have visions of what could be greater. And competition, but fun and respectfully. You know, when you lose respect for each other, then you'll say anything or you'll do anything. I can see a forum like this worldwide being a better. So the greatest wealth is when you can share it with someone. You can share your victories. You can share your failure. You can express your deepest feelings. But the greatest wealth is to be able to say that I have a friend. And I feel an unbelievable level of wealth. And a lot of that is because I have somebody like you.